Kagiso Media owns major radio stations, information services, out-of-home advertising platforms and exhibition companies. The company has a market cap of 2.6 billion rand, a price-to-earnings ratio of 12 and a dividend yield of 2.1%. Digital radio seems to be a big theme within the Kagiso Media stable.
Yeah, so we've been moaning about how tough it is. Radio is in fact the bright point in this industry because the production costs have gone down, because the broadcast and recording and equipment costs have gone down. But the revenue has been good because people find it very cheap and easy to produce radio ads, radio spots. And these channels have done very well, particularly those in the kind of adult contemporary category. So, Jacaranda, very profitable, OFM, very profitable, East Coast Radio down in Durban. Horrible to listen to, but extremely profitable.
Well, that's what you want in a business, don't you? Craig, back to you in Cape Town. Profitable digital radio seems to be the way to go. And as Paul says, the model is great because the costs are low.
Yeah, absolutely. So great operating margins, they're able to contain costs, reduce costs in some instances, and increase revenue. And localized content, so I think you have a slightly different catchment of a potential advertiser. And the return on equity on Kagiso has been brilliant. You know, if you compare it with the print media companies, which are in single digits, you're looking at 37, 38% return on equity. So. And a good balance sheet. So I like the story, and I think if we put it in the context of what I said in the beginning, you had 400 years of newspaper, 100 years of radio. Radio could still be here for some time. There's no indication that it's in decline.
We're looking at the price here on the share graph. What are your thoughts at current levels? I mean,
yeah, look, it doesn't trade that much. The group's quite tightly held by its empowerment controlling shareholders. Remember, Kagiso and a couple of other empowerment groups have merged their interests. The CEO.
So are you saying there's not much free float out there?
Yeah, so you have to work quite hard to buy these. The dividend's also quite patchy. The CEO, Murphy Morobi, was an old South African struggle hero. He then worked in government in the Fiscal and Finance Commission, and he's taken this business over. I do like them. The only thing I would say is a potential negative is that there are other radio entrants coming along. So we know that the SABC is very strong in that area. We know that Prime Media is very strong in that space. So there have been various parties moving around, and there are also one or two other people coming in and getting licenses in the new environment.
Exactly. You've picked up on a very valuable point that perhaps this company doesn't have enough of a moat, if you go with the investment terminology. Very low barriers to entry. Craig, your thoughts on that front?
Well, I think if the SACP don't complain too much, I think there's room for consolidation in this industry, and I'd like to see that. We talk about AME later, cross-holding in terms of Kagiso having a minority of OFM and them having a majority. There's probably room for some consolidation in the industry and mergers because they are fairly small players. But if that'll be allowed, that would be, I think, a good thing and healthy for these companies.
Staying with you, Craig, hot or not?
What must I say about Kagiso? Sorry.
But tell us what you were going to say first and then tell me hot or not.
I was just going to say that this company's focused on radio, and I think they got rid of a few assets that they shouldn't have, like LexisNexis. Fani Titi was a CEO of Kagiso before. Now they've sold that company, and now Fani Titi has approached them again with LexisNexis. So in hindsight, I still believe that was a poor sale. I also think the events management was probably a poor sell, but it does give them focus just on radio. But I would have preferred that they kept some other diversity in case that they're not able to grow their radio assets or something declines. So from that point of view, I'm going to say not hot as it sits, although it's not a bad company.
And not hot from Craig. Paul, hot or not on Kagiso?
No, I'm also going to say not hot just on account of the liquidity issue.